Yo, 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 what's up, y'all? It's your boy Clue and Oddity. You already know what we on, baby. We just got back from watching Dune Part 2,
Part
baby.
two. Part two.
And we have some thoughts.
Yeah, there's some thoughts, bro. So we've been waiting like a couple years to see this. Obviously, part one came out during the pandemic, and we had to see it at home, sitting on our couch on HBO Max, which was cool, but it ain't nothing like what we got to experience in IMAX. This was my first IMAX experience, so like, man, bro. You want to start off? Or you want me to start off?
I guess we can get into it. Man, this was crazy. We recently actually rewatched Part 1, and still a freaking great movie. Still shot crazily, but
Definitely a different movie.
But I'm not gonna lie, this is where Dune starts. This is it. Like this is where it really gets into the nitty gritty. Like just starting off where we left off from the last movie, really getting you into it, showing you the Fremen life. Holy crap, dude.
Yeah, I really like that it just starts right off from the last movie. How it literally, as soon as Jameis gets killed in the last movie, they literally pick up in this one with them still carrying his dead body away from that scene. I thought that was pretty cool. I kind of got some notes here, so I feel like we could just slowly start rattling some stuff off, and whatever we have that's similar, then we can come back and forth to each one. So, the Harkonnen jetpacks.
Dude, those aren't jetpacks. Those are.
No, I know. They're wire packs.
Those they're hover packs. Those things were insane. Like
I fuck with that, bro.
They give them like low gravity.
So, by the way, full spoilers. If you guys haven't seen the movie, definitely take the time to go out and see it. Go support the industry. Denis Villeneuve is the director. He's one of my favorites, so I'm a little bit biased, but he's one of the best in the game, and the cinematic experience is like literally unfounded. So, do yourself a favor, go see it. Don't let us ruin it for you because we are literally about to. So, in the scene we're talking about, it doesn't look like the Harkonnens are gonna make it. They're running from Shai Hulud, and they're talking about like go to the rocks, and the rocks are hundreds of meters away, so it's like y'all ain't gonna make it. And they get to the top of this light hill, and then they just very gracefully spaceman off that thing and just start floating away to the top of this cliff. And it was bordering the line of goofy but badass, but it definitely passed over the line into this is awesome very quickly. Like, it's just so unique, and you just don't really see practical effects done like that, especially given the fact that he would have had to green out all of the crane work and the wires and everything, and not have any shadows of any of that on the ground, but still have a perfect shadow of the individual. Like, it was amazing. That was the first thing I noticed.
Yeah. This scene was actually loaded with a few things. The first thing that I, other than the packs that I noticed, was this was the first time that the Fremen get to kind of check the temperature of their new found companions. I didn't really think this fight was gonna go the way it did, but seeing the hand-to-hand combat of the Fremen, just seeing the low graph Krav Maga style absolute murder, it actually shocked me. Like seeing it and seeing Paul use that kind of use those abilities, it really showed you that, oh no, this guy's the one. This guy is the one.
And so your only prior experience with Dune was the spice melange Dune, correct?
Yes, I mean, what the heck?
Anybody that's seen the 1970s version with David Lynch, you guys know.
Okay, I'll be honest, I thought that was Fifth Element for like a long time. I swear to God.
Damn, don't do Bruce Willis like that. That was back when he still had his little hair thing going on, man. It was still good.
I swear, I didn't know what that movie was. But June? Is it June?
But is it pronounced Dune? Or is it June?
Is it June?
I think it's June. Anyways, moving on. So, for anybody that hasn't seen any other renditions of it, I could imagine that it's just such a jump from just, again, from what Kyle MacLachlan was bringing us back in the 70s. Oh, dude, do you also now see that it's weird that, do you remember in the one from the 70s, slight tangent, how they changed the weirding way into that weird fucking gun thing?
Yeah, the gun thing.
What was that, bro? Because now that you know that it's the voice from the Bene Gesserit, it's like, why would you guys turn it into a gun? What is that even? What are you saying? And then they use words to shoot the gun, and I'm like, this is the stupidest thing
You
I've
know the
ever heard in
funny
my
thing?
life.
When we first watched the part 1 and like they're showing the Bene Gesserit powers and showing how Paul and his mom is showing him.
Yeah, how he was
I
learning.
was so confused what was going on. I was just like,
Oh, dude, I guess that's fair.
I was like,
You were like, what's that? What is this? What's
I was
happening?
like, where the device at? It's just like I was like, okay, maybe we're just going full mystic with this stuff. But
That's
this
so
makes a
funny.
little bit more
Yeah,
sense.
that's actually how it is in the books and all the other renditions. I don't know what David was thinking with
David
that.
was something else.
Bro, the spice melange, bro. Like, hey, the spice must flow.
Flow. Holy moly.
All right.
But go ahead.
So, I have to say, and I know everybody's saying this in other reviews, I genuinely felt something for the love story between Chalamet and Zendaya. It was legit good. I mean, I'm not even a guy that likes, love stories and stuff. I'm a pretty typical guy. I like, action movies and crap like that. So, it definitely said something that it spoke to me.
Yeah. When it came to the relationship, I wasn't really sure of it in the first movie. Not that it felt forced, but it just seemed like
did, a little bit.
It just seemed like it was specifically a destiny type thing. Like,
Yeah.
Anakin seeing his visions type thing. And I know it's ironic for me to be mentioning Star
For those
Wars
who know.
in this situation. But it's just like, it just seemed like everything was predestined with this. But when they get to their relationship, you start to see, Chani open up to Paul as a woman, I guess. It lets you into that insight to like, no, there's a true attraction here. There's an interest here because he is different.
Yeah, it definitely hits different. Yep, I was into it. Like you said, in the first movie, it felt like a little bit like the movie was like, you're going to like this girl. They're going to be cute together and shit. And I was like, I don't care about this, man. That's not what I'm here for. But no, it was like legitimately amazing. I loved every single aspect of the whole story. So we'll get into different stuff with her too, because, they ended up going a bit different a direction with Chani in this one. So like I said, we'll talk about that when that comes up. Now, you're not going to be super hip to this, so I'll talk about this one really quickly. The Water of Life scene got like really shortened, and like the significance of it almost kind of like hand waved away, I feel, for the people that aren't. Hi, cat guys, say hello. I feel like it kind of got lowered in significance, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I get that a lot of purpose of this new Dune is to kind of bring it to the mainstream and make things more digestible to like again a mainstream fan base. So I get it, but in other renditions, like this is gonna sound surprising, but the sci-fi rendition of Dune actually had like a really cool and explanatory version of this that was, from what I'm to assume, quite similar to the books. So yeah, that was a little short and a little bit different, but yeah. What do you think of that scene? Did you understand any of like what the Water of Life is or anything before it showed what it was later?
See, when I seen what they were extracting, or what? Oh no, we see it in the vial first, right? Do we see it in the vial? We see it in the vial.
The Reverend Mother from Stilgar's clan is dying. Yeah.
And I guess this was the perfect storm to bring Paul's mother in to kind of take her place.
Yes.
And the way that you do that is you have to take the Water of Life
and not die.
And if you survive, well, you have you, as only a lady, only a woman in prophecy, you are to become the Reverend Mother now, which is very, very interesting. I thought that this was I didn't really understand Paul's mother's motivations at first, but you really start to tell like it's a long-term play, and she's not compromising for anything. She's willing to risk death for it. She's sure. So when I seen the scene with the Water of Life, I assumed it was poison because they were just talking about it like she would die. Like they were just like it was too risky.
Yeah,
they were too risky.
It.
They were like it was just too risky, and I believe even Chani didn't want her to take it.
Well, so Chani doesn't believe in any of the which is again that's
she was sure she was gonna die. Is what I was saying. She was like that lady's gonna die. I think she was telling Paul that she was like your mom's gonna die. Like this prophecy's not real. You're insane. So I got that it was some kind of poison, but I didn't get the extent. I thought it was gonna like crystallize them or something, crystallize her insides.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't know Florence Pugh was in this. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that was a surprise.
Once it showed her playing the Emperor's daughter, that was again a pleasant surprise. Didn't expect her to be in there. Let's go ahead and. Oh, dude. So, I gotta say, as a Dune nerd, as you guys could probably already tell, I've seen literally everything Dune that there is to ingest. The worm riding scene almost made me cry.
Dude,
This is so emotionally cool, bro. Like, at first I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. But then, like, when he hopped on it, I was like, holy shit, those are practical effects. Like, he was on a worm. They built that entire section of the worm and had wind and sand just smacking Timothy in the face, man. Like, and like by the time he got up and then Dune music hit, bro, and I was just like, whoa, that was good, man. Like,
I think that was so dope because it really because the scene that led up to that was really showing the faith of my boy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it didn't matter whether even Paul knew that he was the guy. He's like, no, I believe.
Yeah, no, this is it.
He's like, no, I believe. You got to do it, and you're gonna do it. And the fact that he brought the grandfather of all worms from his ride,
Yeah, the big boy
I
worm.
thought that was so cool. I was just like, oh my god, we're using the biggest thing. It's showing that no, he's destined. Maybe even the worm knew it.
Yep. Sorry, guys, my cat. He's a brat. All right. Austin Butler as Fade is insane. I know a lot of people, when I watched early reviews before the movie was actually released to the public, were kind of dogging my man for his accent that he did, and I thought it was kind of funny that until people really dove into the film later on after its actual release that they realized that he was just doing an almost perfect Stellan Skarsgård impersonation, and it was glorious. He was murdering it. You know, Stellan Skarsgård, by the way, plays Baron Harkonnen, his uncle.
Yeah, no, that's what interested me. I thought that he was showing that he's so close to Baron in that instance.
Yes, that's exactly how I felt about
Baron
it.
was possibly that ruthless dude in the Colosseum, cheating by the way, that will do anything to take power, murder, slaughter. It really showed that, hey, this is not just his nephew, this is his family.
Yep.
Like it's not just a normal Harkonnen. This guy is just like Baron.
I also felt like it was a really good choice given the fact that him and Roban were supposed to be such a contrast to each other. I really felt that. I was just like, that's awesome. His intro was the coolest thing ever. When the dude hit him with the hook and went to pull his opponent back, and then he just screamed at them no and to stop. Like, that was, man, I don't know, it was visceral. It was animalistic. I loved it. I really felt attached to the villain. It was amazing.
Yeah, that was obviously something that I already knew about, like the fact that they cheat for him, and they're all supposed to be poisoned or whatever.
Yeah,
I thought it was very interesting.
Also poisoned. It looked to me like they hit him in the kneecap.
Yeah, and they just got
each of them just came in limping, and they kept saying poison, and I was like, "Yo, Harkonnen poison is weird, bro. Like, it goes straight to your leg.
It go right to the glutes, man.
I would say it's just like cheeseburgers, bro. It goes straight to your leg, straight to your ass."
Yeah. I was surprised by by the Baron taking that route. At first, I was thinking that he was playing 4D chess, but I think he was really like, Fade wins, he wins.
Yeah, if he wins, he wins.
He wins, he wins.
That's why I love that Fade called him on it whenever he came back, and he's like, "You tried to kill me, fat man. I should drown you in that pool." Yep, I love it. Really quick, we can talk about the Harkonnen planet, Giddy Prime.
Oh, bro.
Amazing, dude. Amazing. So we've seen slight renditions of it in the David Lynch version, but the David Lynch version made the Harkonnens like really weird
Yeah,
and gross.
super-
So like
But apparently they're supposed to be kind of gross.
they are, but like I really enjoyed Denis' rendition of them. It's very reminiscent of the Hellgast from the Killzone series.
Yeah.
I really think that's what he drew inspiration from, which I think vice versa for Hellgast to Frank Herbert's original writings.
Yeah, what did you think of the black and white?
Dude, so at first I thought that that's just how they were going to do every single scene until I saw them go inside when Austin Butler was walking through the hallway and you could see that the lighting on him was different. So it's literally the black sun on the Harkonnen planet causing things to lose color.
Like
Also the implosion fireworks.
Oh yeah. At first I thought they were like blowing up their shield.
It took me a second. Then
But
I was like,
then
oh, those are fireworks.
but then when the guy was like, you're not here to see your celebration, I was like, oh, those are fireworks.
Yep, little implosions. Like, I thought that was really cool.
It was like, those were so cool, but I was just like, what in the heck is that?
Yeah,
Like,
don't think about it too hard. It was dope though. I really enjoyed that. Anything else on the Harkonnen planet? Again, just Fade's entire introduction was so visceral and just amazing from the second he was on screen. And I personally didn't watch the Elvis movie, so like I'm not a fan or not fan of Austin. So it was just it was really good to see him get in there and just absolutely murder it.
Whew. Okay.
You got any random stuff before we keep moving on? I got a random one.
Go ahead.
Do you remember the magnetic mines? So there's this scene wherever one of the spice collectors is coming through Fremen territory after about 40 minutes into the movie, and there's this what seems to be someone laying under a blanket.
Yeah, the Fremen.
Or no, I guess I'm lying. This is like an hour or two. into the movie.
Yeah.
This is quite in the
Fremen
movie because this is when Gunny Halleck fucking comes back. So. You see this, what looks like a person under a blanket trying to snipe somebody on a sand dune far away. And the blanket's flapping, and for some reason it just keeps flapping more and more. And then all of a sudden, this giant metal plate just comes shooting up out of the sand and then heading straight towards the spice collector.
Hits its tracks, blows it.
Dude, at first I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I thought somebody because when it first went up, it just looked like it flew up. I didn't realize that it was going to keep moving forward. So, I thought someone just was under a bunker or something and flew the top of a bunker up. But then when I watched it just keep moving forward, I was like, oh shit, we got magnetic mines, man.
And, the funny thing is maybe 20 minutes prior to that, Chani had mentioned them telling Paul that he needs to know how they work.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's how they work.
Yep, that was awesome. It was a really cool scene.
Yeah, that was crazy. So funny, from the first movie in the beginning, Paul's getting trained, and he tells his command, "I know your steps." It's like,
dude, it's so funny. I literally have this written down right here. In the original, I don't know if you remember, that was Patrick Stewart's part instead of being Josh Brolin. Yeah. It was much more corny, 70s. So it was like. They ran up to each other and almost started fighting, and then they were like, Gurney Halleck, and he was like, Paul Atreides, my boy, and it was really, I love that they did it the way they did, where Paul literally slammed my man and then leaned in and just said, I recognize your footsteps, old man. And I was like, what a intelligent, good callback to the first movie, man. I don't know, gave me chills.
That's how, by the way, guys, as a second movie, that's how you do the thing.
Yeah, that's how you do the thing, guys. He did the thing. He said the thing. Say the thing, Bart.
Say the thing. Okay. I guess pushing forward, because we maybe stepping back a little bit. What did you think of what did you think of the scene of the Fremen kind of getting closer to Paul and asking him to choose a name?
Oh, so that's in all the renditions. I actually would love to know what you think about that, but I loved it. It again, much like other things in this movie, have been slightly digested back and blased. I could be wrong, but I believe in the literature, along with most of the renditions, he does not ask what the mouse's name is. He asks what the small moon's name is, because there's 2 moons on Arrakis that cover the sun. Star Wars. Um, and he asked what the smaller moon that chases the big one is, and that is also named Muad'Dib, which is the name of the mouse in this one. So it was, it was a cool little change. Still the same thing, but again, it was just shortened, and I don't know. I'm a nerd. I just always want him to do more from the actual source material.
See, this is where it's a balance between, show and tell. I think it was appropriate for them to kind of keep that part a little condensed and just give you the raw idea, because the mouse thing was interesting because it's like, hey, that's the only thing on this planet that makes its own water.
Yeah, Stilgar does explain that in all the renditions. That's the really coolest thing.
It makes its own water. So it's like,
you see
that's
that in
what
the
makes
first
that
movie
thing
too,
so powerful.
Where its ears sweat, and then the sweat leaks down back into their ears, and it like rehydrates their own body.
It's like that. That gives so much power to the name. It's like to have the ability, to self-sustain.
Okay, so as a relative, like quote quote, newbie to the Dune franchise, is the words all being so freaking similar confusing to you? So we got Muad'Dib, Mahdi, and then they say the full one for what they call the Messiah. It's like the Galen Oz frick. But yeah, dude, I remember the first time listening to all this stuff and watching all this stuff, and I was just like, wait, are you talking about? Well, I thought you just said what? Like every word just sounded the same, bro. Like, so yeah,
I guess not really, only because I read Arabian Nights.
What about Kwisatz Haderach?
See, that name is just ridiculous. I will remember
or the
that.
Bene Gesserit.
It's like the Bene Gesserit. I'll remember that. The things that are just wild and out of their mind, I'll never forget.
Or like
those don't get confused.
Shai Hulud.
Shai Hulud. I like that one a little bit more because
I like
that one a little bit more because it just rolls off the tongue. That's the thing that kind of keeps it going. If it rolls off the tongue, if it's ridiculous like the Bene Gesserit.
It's just so witch.
I don't get too confused, but I do have to remember like what they said the translation was. Like Mahdi after the movie, I had to look it up. I was like, what does that mean? And I was like, what does that mean?
It means like Messiah.
Yeah, it's a guided to the right path.
Yeah.
It was like,
so yeah.
It's like rightly guided. And I was just like, I would have never remembered what that meant. I would have been like Messiah.
I mean, hey,
like, Messiah.
American, screw it. Bro. Oh, really quick before I say this, whenever Gurney asked Paul about his visions, and then Paul tells him that he's scared because it's going to cause millions of deaths and he doesn't want to be responsible for it, and then Gurney asks him, is it because you lose control? And then Paul says,
no, because I gain it.
It's because I gain it. And I was like, that was dude, the writing in this film, not only the directing for Denis, like I'm not entirely certain who the writer is, I'm not going to cap, but whoever it was, man, this entire film is just so well crafted as a cinematic experience, down to like, again, even down to like the basic dialogue between two characters.
Yeah, from what I gather from people who kind of give you synopsis of the Dune books, it kind of always has these allusions to him not truly being a savior, but it keeps it kind of it doesn't load it in there, but it shows it, but it kind of lets you know that Paul's not exactly he's a means to an end.
So I'll get into like a very quick spoiler rant about the future of the series, just for people that don't want to have the next movie ruined for them. But yeah, it's just needless to say, he's not. He is not.
I mean, shoot, the visions tell you he's not. The visions
exactly.
he's having are so all of the visions that he
Some would
has
say it's
pretty
more of
much
a warning.
pretty much happen. So when you see this vision, this is not something that his mind's tricking him on. It's like no, I could totally see that.
One thing I will say that I was a little upset about is that again, much like with the life water scene, only being in the sci-fi rendition of Dune, as well as that the explanation for where the life water comes or the water of life comes from is also only in that. Now we get that in this also, but there's no explanation. It's more of a visual thing. So I feel like instead of making that more digestible, it just kind of almost made it more convoluted for newcomers, because like I don't know about you, but like,
Because what it looks like is, if you from an outside perspective, what it looks like is you have to almost kill this worm.
yeah.
This baby worm, mind you, they have baby worms. Let's
Yeah, they start real
establish
small,
that.
like
They
the
start-
size of like a giant anaconda
Yeah, and they keep it in this shallow pool area
of sand.
so it can stay around. And what they'll do is they'll all but drown the son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And for some reason, this suffocation, at least in the visual, the suffocation, this system that they got them going through in the water that they're using, because I think it's pure water.
So there, yeah. Again,
It's-
something that was explained slightly earlier. I guess we didn't talk about that. It's again, I guess if you know Dune, then so whenever Jameis's body is brought back to the Fremen base in the beginning of the movie, they drain him of all his life water, and then they take his life water into a sacred area of the Fremen stronghold, where they show this giant millions of gallons of water, and it's all implied that it's from dead Fremens. And that's in the books, that's in everything. There's actually, as I was explaining to Clue, there's thousands of those all across Arrakis. That's the way that the Fremen are slowly bringing back a green Arrakis. It's slightly explained by Javier Bardem's character Stilgard, but honestly, it's another thing I was kind of upset about that didn't really get explained. They're really supposed to take you into these areas, and they might in the next movie, to be honest, but there's these greeneries all around Arrakis underground where Fremen are slowly trying to terraform Arrakis back into a beautiful paradise. And that's another reason why they're drowning Shai-Hulud babies and getting, water of life out of them. It's really complicated.
Because they're trying to turn the planet into a super Earth, so they need a lot of water.
Yes, and they obviously need Shai-Hulud to survive.
So these sandworms have to survive. They're a part of the ecosystem, so they have to make sure that they can eventually survive the water. Which is scary. They don't need to survive. Just get them a patch of land, a patch of sand. The Middle East is huge. We got a lot of sand on Earth.
This
I'm
a
sure
whole
y'all
planet.
I was pretty sure y'all got a whole lot of sand. The South is rich in sand. We can keep half of the planet.
So Paul comes to that area and drinks the life water, almost dies, gains his Quasisex Haderach powers fully. Which is slightly different, but
From lady tears.
So listen, I want to talk. That part was a little silly. I'm sure that was from the book because I've not seen that in other renditions. So I was like, that must be some book stuff because that was something else. Anyways, from a desert spring. So the funniest part in the movie is right after this scene when Paul wakes up from almost dying. Chani stares at him for a moment and then slaps the hell out of him.
When I tell you everyone died.
As soon as she slaps him, the Dune music came in and just went,
Dude, I lost it in the theater, dog. Man, it was great. There are some funny moments in this movie.
Everyone's pretty quiet the whole movie, just respectfully, just enjoying it. But that moment, like Clue said, everyone they lost it. It was great.
There's one more. We will get to that.
Yes, definitely. Chani getting mad after all this definitely seemed a little forced. I don't know if that's a result of Zendaya's acting. Not to say that she was bad in this movie. She was amazing. This is honestly her best role she's ever done. But I just felt like it was a little insincere of her getting upset. And I don't know if, again, that was due to writing or acting. But it just felt a little like, eh. And again, I think that's because that was something in all the other versions that was not like that. That maybe my brain was just kind of like standoffish towards it.
Yeah, they rewrote Chani. They rewrote the heck out of Chani. I think because they decided that with this rendition, they wanted to give her a second shot. They felt like she got sidelined.
Yeah, she didn't get any character development
because of what happens to her in the books.
Even in
in the old movies, but what's supposed to happen to her type stuff. So like this gave her a little bit of a powerful role to show that, hey, she's not exactly in on this whole Bene Gesserit ploy that they've all set up to take power.
Keep talking. I'm gonna check the camera. I want to talk about
that. Dude. When that particular thing happened, I thought it was kind of funny that him taking the water was not necessarily the last pin in the coffin, but it showed that everyone was in on it now, and it showed that now Paul's different. Paul's different. Paul might be that guy.
All right, full disclosure, we lost
one.
We lost 2 minutes of my face, but you guys will live without it. We'll put something pretty up in between, like cats or flowers or something. We'll fix it in post. So what were you just saying before I got up about? So yeah, a lot of the Fremen in this one, it makes it very apparent that half of them are not down for, like what Clue said, what the Bene Gesserit has been laying down for the last 1,000 years. And that was like a really cool distinction to show that there are different nations and there are different ethnicities and different dialects and stuff like that.
And different sects. There's always going to be a zealot, and there's always going to be a skeptic, someone who's not necessarily against the whole deal, but they're just like they're not bought in. They're not bought in, and they're not sitting here waiting for it. They actually say that waiting for a Messiah will leave you dead.
Yeah, that was a cool line too. I like that.
I thought that was interesting for them to kind of touch on, and have one of his companions, his lover, be the skeptic, and then kind of like his best friend be the southern zealot type. That's like, no, bro, you're the guy. I know you guys. I seen it with my eyes. And
speaking of which, and I didn't realize this until retrospect on coming back and thinking about the movie again. Bro, what a reunion between Javier Bardem and Josh Brolin. No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
I think I seen that I think I watched a review and somebody said that.
Yeah.
And I guess it didn't really hit me after watching the movie. But yeah, what a reunion.
I had to write that down. I was just like, dude, that's an amazing reunion for the two of them. I bet they had a lot of fun on set together. Yo, be honest, man. Christopher Wallace was just
Rerun it.
Christopher Walken. We're keeping it in. Christopher Walken was distracting. I didn't enjoy him being in the movie. He definitely did not fit the part of the Emperor for me. I know that was like only your second time seeing the Emperor, and the first time you saw him was only for like a minute, but
this was Christopher Walken.
Yeah. And then he said a couple words as Christopher Walken.
Literally, how the actors when they get in the credits and it says as Christopher Walken, as Steve Bloom. This was as Christopher Walken. I was like,
Christopher Walken as Emperor Christopher Walken.
I don't know who this is, but I do not think this is the Emperor.
Bro,
this guy is not giving me anything to work with. I love you, Christopher. What are you doing here?
It ruined that, and we'll get to it, but it ruined that last line he said to Paul at the end of the movie. And do you know why I killed your father? I was just like, bro, this is not hitting for me right now. All right, we'll get to it. We're almost there. All right. Yo, at the end of the movie, when Florence Pugh shows up with her father, the Emperor, she's wearing this like medieval
Joan of Arc.
Hold me. Yeah, thank you. It's like a Joan of Arc made of miniature sword blades. Chainmail freaking thing. If you've seen, you know what I'm talking about. Exactly. It's weird, bro. Like
that was the most distracting thing.
Hey, listen though.
I was like, I get it that the world is brought back to the medieval times because of what happened with the Butlerian Wars, but she took it too far. I don't know what she was going with. That lady is from like 1282. Hey, I don't know what she was on.
But Florence pulled it off. That was kind of hot. I ain't gonna lie.
Nice,
moving on.
What was that?
She did her thing. Yo, the Sardaukar bitches in this. Do you know what the Sardaukar is? That's the Emperor's Guard.
Okay, yeah.
That in the first movie when they went there, they speak in throat singing. I'm sure that was nice for everybody to hear.
Yeah, I feel like they did the Harkonnen as a whole.
Well, not the Sardaukar. The Sardaukar were
but
just.
But the Sardaukar specifically,
because like Harkonnen,
got treated like
Atreides have been, or sorry. Yeah. The Atreides family has been fighting Harkonnen for 100 years. So like, or for like I think hundreds of years. But they know how to fight Harkonnen. It's understandable that Paul could easily take out a lot of them. But at the end, when they all just run up on Sardaukar, and they just start murdering the crap out of all of these Sardaukar, like, ridiculously easily. And I wouldn't be that offended by it, because I know in the first movie they take out those few of them pretty easily as well. But, like, man, dude, all they did was this. You know what I'm talking about?
And you were so sure.
Hold up.
They hit you with the.
All they did was every time they went.
And it was not okay.
And they would just stand there like this. They wouldn't poke or nothing like that or swat. No. They would hold it and then they would go. It was embarrassing, bro. The Sardaukar, for those who aren't aware, are literally a race of people that all they are bred for is killing. People think the Harkonnen are terrifying, bro. Like, Sardaukar are literally the highest elite assassins in the world, bro. Like, it's insulting. So, yeah, they got treated like some punks, and it was really sad. Speaking, do you have anything to say before we move on to the last battle?
No, let's go ahead. Let's go and talk about this last battle.
So, as the worm reveal happens, and I will say I would have liked more worms. Wasn't enough worms at the end for me. I feel like it should have been like 100. I'm greedy.
A lot of worms.
It's a lot of worms. But I feel like that's what it was in the book. I feel like it was a lot of worms. Like,
a lot of worms.
But the worm reveal through the smoke and debris,
oh my goodness,
as the ones jumping up and then the two are coming out from the sides, insanely intense in IMAX. Like, I'm sure it was awesome in any screen, but dude.
But no, it came
my
alive.
Gosh.
It came alive on that screen.
And like the sound mixing in this movie was so good. I could actually hear everyone that was talking, even during extreme action scenes and practical effects just literally exploding.
Yeah, I know we didn't talk about it too much, but like the firepower.
Oh, it's insane.
The firepower in this movie was insane. When they were able to use firepower, you seen that, oh no, these things are powerful.
Yep.
There's a reason why they made those shields the way that they did. They're like, no, we have to discourage that at all times.
We gotta stop that.
We gotta discourage that at all costs. Like those freaking sonic shotguns from earlier in the movie,
I love it,
when they were trying to kill Paul and the Fremen. Oh my goodness, what is that?
Yep, it was really cool. It was really cool to see.
Seeing the fleets go down, watching them during the final battle, take down the tower and stuff. Seeing the explosion stuff going down, you're seeing like just you're seeing true revenge happen.
Yeah.
In one fell swoop, just
satisfying.
from one side to the other on me, men. And
so there's a scene in the first movie where Paul has a vision of himself in a Fremen outfit, running through a battlefield, flipping over people, stabbing. It's like a really cool thing. And then he pauses, and then his face shield comes up, and really bad CGI Timothy is in there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
that was Chani.
Yeah, it was.
Did you see
during that battle?
There was a whole one take with Chani and Zendaya.
Just taking them down.
She's
with her
just
mask
running
on.
through with behind her, and then just getting chopped up, and then as she turns around, it's revealed that it's her, and it's almost a 1-for-1 scene of that vision that Paul had. I thought that was so freaking cool. Again, just Denis showing off, man.
Yeah, this dude is apparently the captain of subversion as well as cinematography. My goodness. Okay, you want to talk about that last battle?
Well, yeah.
The last
so,
fight.
What do you think about how they changed Baron Harkonnen's death? I will say a couple things. So, for me, for one, I feel like he also kind of went out like a bitch.
He went out like a bitch, man.
It was kind of embarrassing, bro.
Yeah, I feel like they sidelined a couple of people in this. My boy Batista had no chance.
Well, honestly, I mean, I told you my thoughts in the theater. I really kind of was hoping that Fade would just be introduced by killing Roban.
My boy Batista had no chance, man.
He did great though.
And then they did Baron like that. It just seemed like they were just like,
Yeah.
we gotta get you out the way. You're not the final fight. You're not the final boss. And
now see, he always went out like a chump. In the original, he got killed by a infant. So, pick your poison.
Sounds Twitter beats.
But I will say,
but he lost several fights in this movie.
Dude, also
this
the
was
Emperor,
depressing.
the Emperor's people slapped him up like
Slapped
a
him
little
up
bitch before he
That's what I'm saying.
died. I was like,
he was like a little puppy. That was my
what
problem.
happened? I was like, Baron was terrifying in the first movie,
I was like, wait a minute,
bro.
wasn't he throwing people around in this first movie? Why is he like this?
And then he murdered those 3 servants right before that at his place. And I'm just like, and he just died? Like,
and they put his face in, and they ended up putting his face in the glass. It's horrible.
No, I was very disappointed, bro. I will say that Paul getting his revenge directly upon him was so satisfying. Like, watching him just slide that knife in, I was like, dude, that was intense. That got me right there, bro. I really liked that. Yeah, just good old-fashioned revenge. And as he leaned in and said, hello, grandfather. All right, So obviously, because of that, obviously that means that, like, his sister's not here, which is kind of weird, and it kind of messes up the timeline because she's already supposed to be born, and she grows at an accelerated rate. So, like, she's already supposed to be, like, the equivalency of, like, a 2-year-old right now. Again, she's the one that killed the Baron. So, like, that's a little weird. But on that note, I will say it was really cool to get the surprise reveal that Anya Taylor-Joy is going to be playing her in the 3rd movie.
Yes,
so, like,
so sick.
That was awesome. I love her. Can't wait for Furiosa. You know what I'm saying? Gonna be great. We're definitely gonna be doing a review of that.
Yeah. I guess, like, what made it okay for me with that is, like, seeing her communicate from the womb. What an interesting pull to be like, hey,
that was really cool.
It's like, even it seems like his sister before born is also scheming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's not just asking, how's my brother doing? Like, she's a part of this, and she's not even alive. She's not born. It's crazy.
Do you remember in the movie earlier, I kind of spoiled it for you a little bit, but do you remember when Paul is, it just shows him and his mom before they get to the Fremen camp at the beginning, sitting on a dune, and they just have some narration playing over the scene, and it's Paul talking to his little sister, and I was explaining to you, I was like, he's actually talking to his little sister. But then later in the movie, they one-upped me and they were like, she talks back, and I was just like, that's a cool change. All right, I like that, because she did, I think, give her mother thoughts a little bit, but again, the whole process happened so fast that it just, But yeah, I definitely like that change up. That was really cool. Also, the visuals they did were very trippy, and I enjoyed that, especially with the Water of Life scene.
The Water of Life go over. That was so
tight.
Crazy.
That was tight. Then we never saw her again after that.
Yeah, like, what is going on with that? I guess moving on closer to the end of the movie. At this point, we kind of wanted to get into, we saw that final battle.
Dude, that's my next note. My God, bro. So one thing I didn't notice, and I will admit that it was simply because I was so engaged in the moment and raptured in it. I had to hear this from other reviewers, and I thought back, and I was like, yeah, I guess that is what happened. Complete silence. Complete silence. I didn't realize this, but there is not a single sound happening during that fight. There's no one talking. There is no music. No one in the theater was talking. Yeah, it was completely silent. Yeah,
you can hear a pin drop. Yeah, I didn't
People
even think
were on
about
hush
that.
mode, bro.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you can hear a pin drop.
And, like, it was just so cool because then all you end up hearing is the... It was intense.
Seeing the fluidity and the motions. These guys were giving their hearts out in this battle.
I've never seen it, but apparently Mission Impossible 6 or 5 or something with Henry Cavill when they do the bathroom fight, apparently that's very reminiscent of that. So, cool,
Yeah, super cool. But, like, this was intense because, after, you get this cool down of you seeing a final battle that's not a huge spectacle because they're hand-to-hand fighting, and they're not exactly kung fu fighting. they're doing a very berserker mode. Doing a very berserker mode type of fighting / dashing, and seeing
keep talking.
Yeah, and watching them kind of.
We're going to wrap it up. That's all good. That's all good.
Wrap it up.
Keep rolling.
Yeah.
We'll put up a graphic, y'all. We'll fix it in post. We're in the making of it, all right? This is a process.
Process.
Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. So watching Fade. So watching Paul and Fade fight each other, kind of get the slash and dash and going. You see that Fade is still really good. Not only is he good, he's ruthless. And if with Paul's slight inexperience and real true battle over years and years, you can see that there are some things that he's still rusty with that he can improve. And Fade showed that. But the thing that Fade didn't have is the brains.
Mm-hmm.
Because Fade the whole time was all brawn, all showboat. And Paul took advantage of that. It makes it seem like, oh, Paul got, but you gotta watch that knife. That's all I gotta say. You gotta watch that knife.
Dude, so that's another thing I wanted to talk about personally is that the way that Denis Villeneuve shoots action was breathtaking. Like, I didn't think that he was capable of stuff like that. Like, not to dog him. Like I said, that's one of my favorite directors, but it was breathtaking. It was astounding. I really could not believe that he was that well versed with it. There were scenes where he would go from almost not quite as egregious, but Marvel style quick cuts, but then intersperse in between long cuts of
wide shot
of just action scenes happening without a single frame cut from it. It was amazing. I can't say another word for it. It was one of the best fight scenes I think I've seen in a really long time, if not ever.
Yeah, no, this was intense. This was a nail biter as much as the end of Man of Steel. Where you're just like,
God,
it's like, oh my God, this is for all the marbles. This is for all of the marbles.
I will say that, like you said, whenever the switcheroo happens and you see that Paul actually somehow got the knife from Fade and stabbed him, felt like it was a little bit of a cop-out for them not to show that on frame. I was like, all right, but how did that happen? But whatever, because, it was still really freaking cool.
I mean, the fact that he was stabbed in the wrong spot.
Okay, I wrote that's my last line, or my second to last line is that knife continuity. So Paul gets stabbed.
In like the spleen or something.
It's like down here, all right? He gets stabbed like right here. I don't know if you're going to see it, like right here. When the scene cuts back after he stabs Fade, he now somehow has a knife.
Like in here.
And he pulls it out. And I look at Clue and I'm like, where did that knife come from? Like, what the hell? Like,
that's not the same knife.
So that was the only issue, is that whoever was running knife continuity should be fired.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. But other than that, amazing.
So to wrap up finally, Chani leaves. She's not down with this. She told Paul early in the movie that I would love you as long as you stay who you are. And this is not who he are.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think she was down. What she was not down for, she was openly betrayed. He took another bride.
That too.
And made her cry, and then she left.
That was the final straw.
Take back your power, woman.
And she rode a worm up out of there with the angriest mad face I ever seen.
Take back your power, lady.
So I'm really interested to see how that's going to go.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's the last thing that I wanted to actually
That's going to totally change the second movie.
That last scene, I know this had to happen, but again, since they rewrote Chani's fate, it just seems like they were just like, oh, and yada yada, he's married to like the Empress now. It's like, all right. It kind of just seems like you guys made me deal with this love story to just be like, oh yeah, no, he's a piece of crap. Like in like the weirdest way. It's like he completely flips on a dime after he shows the Fremen his sign of Atreides ring. He completely flips on a dime, and now I'm like a super villain. It's very strange.
Now hold on. Now this is the main reason why I wish they would have explained the Water of Life more. I get that was a little convoluted. It's because that all took place right after he drank the Water of Life. It literally changed him. So instead of thinking he had a choice, he could now see into the entirety of his future, and he knows now that he has no choice. This will happen no matter what. So he feels, as arrogant as he fucking is, that instead of still actively trying to stop it, he feels that if he makes it happen, this is that spoiler part I was telling you guys about, by the way, for the end of the story in the series. He feels that he can control it, and that he will govern the universe, and that he will make everything better. But obviously, does not freaking work like that. It was a nice choice to show that the houses aren't going to honor his ascension into Emperor, but that's a bit different from the other ones. But no matter what, the movie will lead into eventually The Children of Dune, which is what I'm waiting for. But the next movie that Denise will be doing is Dune Messiah. Dune Messiah picks up anywhere from 10 to 15 years after, or it might even be more than that. It's quite a bit of time after the first event. Paul is a much, much older man. Paul actually ends up going blind, completely losing his sight due to witnessing a spice explosion. His kids are born. He ends up becoming like an outcast. And really the whole point of it is just to show that he was wrong. I'm pretty interested to see how Denis is going to take this because Paul's like not the hero anymore in the next one.
I mean, but he's already sowing the seeds to show that he's like the worst.
He's not. Yeah, totally.
He's like the worst.
He's terrible.
But it's just like we had such a long movie. It felt like that scene with the water of life thing could have been closer to his mom's scene with the water of life thing to show his progression. Yeah. Because after that, it changes on a dime, and it's just like you didn't really kind of show him fully get the Anakin role.
Yep,
you know what I mean?
Really explain
you know what I mean?
They
like
show another vision or
very
something.
loving to Shani, and I get it. He's like, hey, I still got to play my role. So like, I'm not gonna. It's like I just play my role, but it's like you're not really. You're more telling me. Like it's like I would love you to show me how it changed him instead of just like, oh, he's like the worst now. But I get it. We gotta get it rolling. This book's long.
We gotta move on.
We gotta move on. But it's like, okay, well, now you kind of took the protagonist from me. And now when we get into the next movie, everyone's gonna pretty be annoyed with them for at least the first 45 minutes. But we'll see. It's a great movie. If you guys want to check it out, go see it.
Yeah, no, really, definitely go check it out, guys. This went on for quite a bit longer than we expected.
That's okay, it's getting chopped down.
I don't know anything that we're gonna be able to cut out of it, but we'll see what happens. Might just upload it how it is and see who sticks around. If you are still here, I really appreciate you. Please go ahead and demolish that like button and slap up that subscribe button and hit that notification bell, please. We have a lot more stuff coming soon. We're going to have this setup figured out a lot better for, dual stuff like this with me and Clue. We got a lot more movies coming up that we're going to really like. For example, Fallout, the series. I think, didn't it say they're dropping all episodes at once? So we're going to end up just jamming through that first day, and we'll end up having a review up for you guys pretty soon immediately after that.
And I'm going to make this guy watch on the Musha, and we're gonna review that. So Netflix, we're on our way.
I played the game, so, Borderlands, you know what I mean? We're going to have to slog through that.
Oh my goodness!
Just things.
I'm not ready for that.
A quick update for anybody who's here from the gaming side of the channel. We will have the Assassin's Creed video up very soon, and then after that, we're gonna be moving into a couple other things, and then routing back around to a couple Assassin's Creed things. So yeah, I really appreciate everybody for sticking around and tuning in for this. We'll see you next time.
Heck yeah.